years, 4 years after. No, that will not make sense. I think it's something that you can start doing because at the end of all of this, I'm going to give you a complete breakdown what to do A, what to do B, what to do from tonight, what to do tomorrow, so that you can get into that place where you have what I call monthly passive cash flow. We're going to look at real estate investment, and you'll be like, what's going on? We're looking at securing your investment property and looking at real estate investment. What is the difference between the two? I mentioned to you there's one that stays on your personal profile, and there's the one that has nothing to do with you. It just matters, you just show up, and yet you are controlling real estate. So that's that second part, real estate investment. In fact, that's the one that I want 90% of you to really pay attention to. Of course, every other thing, pay attention to it, it works. But that one is the one I really want to really, when you see me say I'll draw the curtain open, that's the one I really want to hit on very hard so that you can go. How do we get funding? Like I said the other time, you saw high rise, stories everywhere. People building houses all over the place. In close to North Star, it's all those new buildings there. How do they get funding? Is there one rich man somewhere? No. I'm going to show you all of this today. Where do you get funding? As much as 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million. It's available. This is America. But you need to know how to get there. You don't guess your way there. You don't just think you know there. And it has nothing to do with where you work, where you don't work. No. So how do you get funding? As much from $0 to 100 million. I'm going to be sharing that with you today. Like I said, you need to pay very close attention so that when you pick all these things down, and again, whatever I'm going to say tonight, I'm going to show you some references so that you can go back and do a little bit more research. But I think I'll do a very good job today. I'm not speaking from the side of somebody I know it by knowledge. I'm speaking from both angles, both from knowledge aspect, and this is what I do. I live and breathe on this, as I'll be showing you some evidence very, very soon. How do you grow your portfolio? Not one, not two, not three. How do you be someone that said, okay, I have 4 properties, I have 5 properties, I have 10 properties, I'm managing them in the land. That's where you grow your portfolio, your real estate portfolio. And finally, that's the goal we want to hit, real estate millionaires. As we're going to learn later that real estate make more millionaires than every other thing. Very good. Give me the next slide. So this is the introduction. What is the vested interest of the speaker? Why am I doing this? Because again, like I mentioned during the introduction, the ad I was running a few days ago, that now I've attended so many real estate classes, and I can categorically tell you what they do there. Now they'll bring you to the class and they would say some few things, and they will heighten your expectation, and you get to a level where they will now say, you know what, if you want to get to that next level, you need to register for a master class. You need to mastermind, and they're going to throw this big grammar just to let you know very well that the level you have learned it, that's the level the free stuff stopped. If you want to go from that level to the next one, they need to register for their courses, which again, that is their strategy. I have no problem with them doing that because they are industries. They have to grow whatever they are doing. They are schools. Okay, some charge as much as 5,000, some 10,000. There are some masterminds that charge $25,000. And I can categorically tell you, some of them I know hit some things I'm going to hit at tonight. So even though I've said so many times something that is free is not well appreciated, I want to believe that you value this because again, it's a lot of value that I put into this. I was telling Mama last night, I didn't sleep till this morning. Again, I have this ready, but I to not put it in PowerPoint. I'm not a friend of PowerPoint. I wish I have somebody that will take that. I don't want to give you a slide of Microsoft Word. It will not be presentable. So I was up till this morning. So literally, I only slept 1 hour. So flow with me, pay attention, be very calm, quiet, soak everything in. And again, we have multiple services tomorrow, so I need to go home on time. So if you grab the concept, ask relevant questions, then you are going to grab everything. But if you're going to ask me questions that I've said over and over, just because you came late, then that will not be time well managed. And that's why we put a particular time for you to be here. So what is my interest in this program? Number one, I want people to be empowered. Bible says my people are destroyed because they lack knowledge. When I see people suffer in the midst of plenty, somehow I kind of disconnect from that environment. I want people to be empowered. When people are empowered, they can do something with their life. They can struggle less and make more. So my major goal is to empower the people, beginning from members to non-members to different people that will be privileged to meet by the grace of God. Empowerment, very, very powerful. Number two It's assistance and paying it forward when you have been helped. It's my expectation that you find somebody else to help. Definitely, there are some of you that, as soon as you finish, um, Sister Fome, come and put water in my little jar here. If I start, so in my experience, I discovered that when something is working well with you, you just want to find somebody else to help. Somebody else might come to you and say, how did you do this? You'll be so glad and excited to help that individual. So that's my goal today, that when you have learned it, it's working for you, which I know it will work. Definitely, I'm confident it's going to work. Because again, like I said, I'm not here to tell you stories. I'm here to teach you, to show you, to give you evidences, and let you know very well that this is not just something we are learning from just, no, it's something that is actually working. So it's my expectation that when you have learned it, when it's working for you, you will also pay it forward. Find somebody else to mentor. That's the beauty of life. That when you learn something that's working for you, find somebody else to help, find somebody else to mentor, so that it keep going on and on like that. Number 3, what is my vested interest? Again, it's my expectation. This is our church initiative. This is a church program that Divine Touch is doing. I believe there are categories of people here. Number 1, there are members, which are great. There are some that are non-members, but they are committed in other ministries, which is powerful. But I believe there's that third category of people that are here tonight that are not members and they are not committed anyway. It's my expectation that if a church has blessed you, then consider becoming part and parcel of the church, because they just whatever we're going to share here, this is just little of what we bless our community with. So it's our expectation that as you have come to learn and be blessed, so you consider becoming a son and a daughter in the house, and you grow with this church and get blessed with every other thing that the Lord has empowered us with. Number 4, what is my interest in this conference? Follow-up joyful moment of all action takers. I want to come, and you'd come and share your check with me and say, Pastor, this is my check. I just got a check for $50,000. I just get one for $10,000. And call me to your investment properties. Let's take pictures together. I love those moments. Hallelujah. Do I use it for advert? No, I don't need all that. Amen. I just celebrate when people are blessed. When people are joyful, I just want to be in that joyful moment with them, to celebrate with them. So these are my vested interests for over this event. Again, if you are to learn this outside, their own vested interest is none of what I've just shared. Because now the whole reason when you see them is free. Just come. You have free coffee, free hall. Some of them will rent big hotels downtown. And they say it's free. Think from your head. How can that be free? There's no free coffee in America. They are programming that if 100 people come, by the time they will hit the lecture to a level, at least 20 people will register. So 5 people will pay for everything that they use, and 15 people will give them their interest of that program. But again, it's given to you on a platter. Please appreciate it. Pay attention and do the needful. So these are the reasons why we are putting up this conference, by the grace of God. My next slide will show us something very, very important. I call it privilege, authority of the speaker. What gave me the right to speak over this? What do I have to show you? Why should you even believe me? Why should you even why should you pay more attention? Because there should be something you should know about the speaker that should assure you that this person knows what he's saying, what he's doing. What is that? I call it privileged. I should have used the word authority. But I do believe that as a child of God, whatever we are in life is only by privilege. And that's why I term it privileged authority of the speaker. Number 1, I put there, I'm speaking from a well-researched knowledge that has been duplicated in many lives. So there are people that are here today because a fellow came to my office yesterday and was saying, Pastor, all your members have bought all the houses in New Jersey. I said, no. Humorously, anyway, I said, no. We are coming. We've not started. We are still coming. Amen. So he said that, and I said very well. Now, the reason why he's saying that now, he knew very well I have something. Came with the wife. I have something to share with them. I said, okay, you know what? I don't want to repeat myself. We have a conference here today. Why not come? All the questions you want to ask me, which I already know what they are going to be answered in the conference. So by God's grace, I believe I have a well-founded, grounded knowledge. Personally, I learned it. Secondly, I went to the school for real estate. And not only did I finished, I became a real estate agent. And from there, I proceeded by becoming a realtor. So I put in my next, I put a non-practicing realtor. So this is the first realtor you will see that is not practicing. Because my reason of going there was to learn. I want to gain access to the website where I can buy properties. So I thought then that the only way I could gain access, because there's a huge website for only real estate agents. So you need to be licensed to get in there. So when I finished the class, and they now say you cannot get the license except you go to a broker. And the broker said, I'm not going to permit you to get the license until you serve in my firm. So that was why I eventually found myself running around finding houses for people, which I knew that was not what I wanted to do, but that's the requirement. You have to go through a broker. The broker will help you apply for the exam. When you finish that, you need to serve in the broker's firm and be showing people houses and everything like that. But as soon as I got what I wanted, I disappeared from that firm. So I'm actually a realtor, but I'm not practicing. Amen. I'm not practicing, and I show you the reason why I actually went into it, just because I want to gain access into the website to gain more information and other things that I had to do. By the grace. Number 3, why should you listen to me? I'm a real estate investor since 2015. I've been in this game. This is my 8th year in this game, which I'm going to show you some few things. I don't want to glorify myself. I just want to some few among what the Lord has helped us to accomplish in this field. I just say 1 or 2 or 3 or so. So you know that, okay, we know what we are saying this one. So since 2015, by the grace of God, I finished my real estate school in 2013. 2012, 2013 became a realtor 2014. And afterward, as soon as I was able to break into the website, that was my actual purpose and the reason I was in nursing school. I had no plan of continuing with the firm, so I just left there. So I started fully my investment in 2015, and I'm going to share the whole story of all that with you as we move on very, very quickly. What else is my privilege authority? By God's grace, my primary home is mortgage free. And not only that, we have properties across the country by the grace of God. Some of you know, some you don't know. And also the last slide, which would be some of the few evidences to show that, all right, by God's grace, God has empowered me in this field to be a blessing to people. And that's one of the things we want to share here tonight. The next slide is going to show you some of the checks that I believe we've received. Okay, I don't know if you can zoom this a little bit for the people to see. Okay, this is a check for that. These are a couple of the checks we receive. Okay, because as a real estate, now go back. All right, stay there first. All right, so because there are things you're going to do. Again, like I said, you buy properties, you want to stay. You buy properties, you want to fix and flip. We're going to talk about all of that. You buy property, you want to just cash out of it. Or there are so many things, all right? Or there are some you just want to like buy and transfer to others and just cash out your gain from it and things like that. So maybe I just put about 2 or 3 checks I could find. I was searching around, I know, I discarded them everywhere. But at least about 2 or 3 I found, and I took some screenshot of some direct deposit that was made just to share with you. Please don't look at me as somebody special, and please don't ask me for money because I'm an investor. All this money I put them back in my investment, so I don't put more than 2,000-3,000 in my hands. So if you come and meet me afterward, you are on your own. This is a check for $5,000 on one of the deals that we had. The next one will be a direct screen. This is a check for $59,000. Okay, again, if you see Title Town, these are title companies. These are the people that cracks the money. Once the money comes from wherever, the title company are the one that breaks it down. So they give the investor this one, they give the owner this one, they give the buyer this one. So they share the money for everybody. So you might see some of the names there, title companies. So this is a check for $59,000. If you look at the date, so it's not something. I try to look for the dates that are very close. Does this one have a date, media? Okay, I think this one was that one was November. This is November. This is November. No, this is December. December, I could remember. All right. So you could see, if you see the name Paracletos Multi-Service, the name of my LLC. If you don't see my LLC, you will see my name. Okay, my name, which some of you know, some of you you don't know. So this is a check for $59,000. Give me the next one. This is another. Okay, if you can bold in this a little bit, this is a direct deposit for $132,254. How many years we used to save that? Talk to me. Talk to me now. Huh? Look at the dates. Put it back. What date is that? When? What year? All right, so I'm sharing you so that I don't go and bring one 10 years ago. It's like, oh, this is 10 years. This is just, how many months ago? Talk to me. How many months ago? 2-3 months ago. All right, so you can see Republic First. That's another name of title companies. Okay, so these are the people that breaks everything down and they transfer to you, they transfer to this, they transfer to that, and everything like that. So I'm sharing this with you just to let you know again, that's a decent amount of money that can send some people on some good vacations and make you rest very well. This is my goal. I want to bring everyone to this level where I'm not just showing you my check. I want to see your checks. Hallelujah. I want to see yours. That's my goal today. That's my goal. For those that want to buy their primary property, that's fine. For those that want to buy their secondary, that's fine. For those that want to go into full investment and be cracking things like that, it is possible. If you hit 2 or 3 of this a year, running around will stop. And that's my goal. Somebody hearing me? Running around, jumping from pillar to post will stop. Fine. I'm not against, like I've said so many times, where some people felt I'm confusing them, that pastor at some point you say we should go to nursing school. Another time you say you should go and do IT. Now you are saying you should go and do business. What are you even saying at the event? I say now, get me clear. Have a career. That's fine. Have a career, but don't die in a career. Have something that works in the community. Have something that you don't have to wake up to go and fulfill obligation every single day. That's not life. You'll be working every single day to fulfill your bills. And I said the moment it occurs to your brain that you are working to live, then you are not living. How do I mean? If you don't work, you can't pay your rent, you can't pay your mortgage. That demand on your brain is depressing. That demand on your mindset is depressing on itself. That if I don't work, I can't pay my bill, I can't eat, I can't pay my phone, these things that you'll be disadvantaged when you don't work. When you go to work at some point now and something happens, they have to fire you from work now, you begin to think. Why? Because every of those financial weight rests on you going out of your house. So, however, you having your own career going on and you have something you are building by the side that is handling some bigger things. With all humility under heaven, we have several businesses, but there's none we have gotten bigger breakthrough than in real estate. And that's why I can tell you this even in my sleep, how it works. So pay attention to it. I don't even have any more to just share with you before I go to the most. But again, it's not about me tonight, but I needed to show you this in case we have some doubting Thomas is here. So you to know that we are not rabble rousers. We actually know what we are saying. Do I have any other thing, mister? Any other check? Show me something else. Okay, this is another check. This is a smaller one. This is $700 and something. But again, it's still something. I have another check for another one again. How much is that? The next one. Okay, bolding this a little bit. This one is, again, if you're going to see different names, all right? And you're going to see the name of my company there, all right? So this one is for 1,900 and what? Talk now. 1,000 what? What date is there? What date is there? Look at the date. What date is there? December what? December what? Which means why you are getting to New Year. I'm cashing out. Hallelujah. So you can see there again, Paracletos Multi-Service. For those that have been in our business center, you know that's the name. That's the name of one of our companies that we manage by God's grace. All right, so that's there. So let me see if I have another one again. I think I have another. All right, this is a check for how much? Okay, bolding it a little. Everybody will look at the name. At least you know my name. So you could see my name and Mama's name there. All right, so this was a deal that we closed together. All right, and it's for how much? It's for how much now? $5,000. Pretty much decent money. And that's my address in case at least you know my address. So again, this is for just few people that want to see proofs and evidence and things like that. All right. So let's take this one off. Do I have any other? All right. So another check for how much? We're gonna talk now. No fear. 35,000. All right. You can see again, Silver Line Company. Okay, this one is a little bit old. What year is this? 2021. Okay, again, like I said, I don't keep this, but when I knew I had to have the conference, and I had to show one or two things so that at least this will keep your mind focused that, okay, you know I'm living in my primary home. I just show you our primary home is mortgage free. I just show you checks of real estate investment. Then you can put your mind down that, okay, this person knows what he's saying. If you are here for your primary home, we have an answer for you. If you are here for real estate investment, we have an answer for you. If you are here, you want to be breaking and cracking checks, we have an answer for you. So pay close attention as I flow now, going forward from this now. So there are 3 parts we're going to handle today. Number 1 is going to be your primary home. Again, like I said, this might sound like kind of redundant to people that have crossed that area. Okay, bolding this a little bit. I love this one. Maybe somebody can read it out, what is there. I spread it a little bit. Say, congratulations, what happened? Read it out. I said what? So I want every one of you to get to this level. Huh? Where your mortgage will be what? Somebody say paid in full. So after Jesus paid the price, this is the next thing I want you to. Huh? When you say Jesus has paid the price in full, so I want your mortgages to be what? To be paid. So when you pay that, your company will write you this, and they will tell you congratulations. So literally they're telling you you are free from debt. Huh? It's a good debt anyways. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. There are bad debt, there are good debt. Okay? But again, when you pay your mortgage off, they will tell you your mortgage is paid in full and give you further instructions on how to retrieve all your documents they held back because now it's yours. Now, when they are still servicing it, they hold your document, they hold the title, they hold this, they do this. So once they pay it in full, so they have to hand it over to you. So you will not be the one paying the taxes yourself. You'll be the one paying the insurance yourself. You'll be the one doing other things yourself because now you are the one that is in charge of all those. I think that's the end of all the proofs or evidences I want to share with you. So let me go now to the main thing, and I want everyone to please pay very close attention. Now I want to start talking. History of real estate. There's a man they call Andrew Carnegie, and he said something. It's a direct quote. He said 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate. Say this famous quote from Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest entrepreneurs of all time, is just as relevant today as it was more than a century ago. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world have built their wealth through real estate. Now, why do they say so? Why do they say so? Every other investment, one way or the other, have a level of risk. Every other investment, one way or the other, have a level of work. Among all of them, now, I'm not trying to tell you that real estate doesn't have risk, but compared to other types of investment, the risk is well managed. And if you know your game and you know the numbers and you know how to manage it very well, you can be able to minimize your risk very, very well. So among all of them, it's very well that many people today broke forth in the lines of real estate. Why? Because they can manage their risk, they can predict. Now, if you take me to a building, I don't need to run around. I look at three things. I look at the structure, I look at the foundation, and I look at the environment. And right there, I can predict what this building will be. If it's going to be an explosion, or if it's going to become a loss tomorrow. Why? Because you know the numbers, you know the demographics, you know how things are working, you know how things are running, so you don't just invest in something anyhow. Okay? So why do we call it one? I say it is hands-free. When fully set up, it is passive when done right from the beginning. It builds and can be transferred to generations. Okay, now it is hands-free. How do I mean hands-free? Some of our real estate, we are not there. The moment is done. Those we have to sell, some we have to refinance, some we have to give out for rentals and things like that. The moment everything is done right, all we just do that, we cash out checks, we have deposits from different places and all. That has been done. So you don't run around, say, what can I do? What can I add? How can I clear this? How can I call this? You don't need any of that one. Now, there are people that bought real estate at a very cheaper level, and now when the market flip or there's an explosion in some terms, which I'll be talking about very shortly, it just like exploded and skyrocketed, and they have to sell and go to another environment, and just keep going on and on and on and on like that until they build their portfolio from nothing to millions of dollars. So once fully set up, it flows very well. Number two, most of the rich hide their wealth in real estate. How do we mean? Now, every other, this will shock you now. Every other investment, any dime you make, you pay taxes on. But when it comes to real estate, when you as an individual, if you make $250,000 profit in real estate, the government will not tax you. Every other thing you do, the moment you make a dime, they will tax you. The moment you make $1, they will tax you. But in real estate, with $250,000 in your pocket, so far it comes from a real estate avenue, you are not taxed. And if you are married, if you make up to about $500,000, you are not taxed. Every other investment in America, they tax you on that. So you can't beat that one anyway. If for that alone, can you imagine 500,000 taxes? How much is 30% of 500,000? How much is 30%? Huh? Okay, imagine you pay $150,000 because you made a profit of $500,000. Of course, that would not be a problem, but again, it would be a problem for investors. Why? Because there's a way you cash big profit on real estate. If you can flip it within a particular time, you don't pay profit, you don't pay any taxes on it. Every other investment, the moment it's reported to the system that you have made X amount of money, you are there, and Uncle Sam will be waiting for you at the end of the year. Very, very important. All right. Now, I said it on number 3. Number 4, the real estate industry tracing its root back. Then all these are just stories about real estate, where it started, how it's been running, and it's been there for many years. It's still operating now, and it's still going to be there for many, many years to come. So that's why I want everyone here to be well empowered, well enlightened. Not only do you have it as something where you are living in, it could be something you have investment properties. It could be something that you are even putting down for your children's children. I was telling my children, I said, now, the moment they turn 18 or 21, 3 things I will give them. Number 1, $1 million. Number 2, a car. And number 3, a house. In addition to the fact that they have known the Lord, then I will empower them to go and dominate their world. I suffer, they can't suffer. It's impossible. I was hungry, they can't ever be hungry. So when you plan yourself very, very well, all these things are something you can achieve, are something you can grab, something you can handle. Hallelujah. So this is the history of what we are dealing with today. How do we now convert history to reality? That is the goal. You are not here to hear story. Who is here for story? And I talk to them, who is here for story? Nobody, I believe. So we are not here for story, we are here for reality. How can I make this work for me? How can I ensure very well that I'm really hitting the goal and everything? So again, go to the next slide very well now. Let me move a little bit faster because of time. Again, I'm going to be speaking for 2 hours. I'll give you a break for 10 minutes, then you come back, and I'll deal with the other part, then I'll allow you to ask your questions. And I'm going to show you A to Z what you can start doing from tonight. What you can start doing from tonight, going forward, what you can start hitting from tonight as you keep building and working towards this by the grace of God. Types of properties that are available in the real estate market. Number 1 are single family homes. What we call by single family home, which means very well you're only there. You can't rent it out because it's just a single unit. All right. It could be 3 bedroom and 2 bath, and some have basement, some does not have basement. It's just available. It's just there. They call it single family residences, or SFR. The next one is what you call multi-family homes. Those could be 2 families, it could be 3 families, it could be 4 families, whatever like that. So these are the available properties that are available that you and I can engage in to be used in the real estate investment. Number 3 is what you call condos. Condos are properties that are in an apartment building. Now you can see a huge apartment building. They'll just craft out a couple of condos in there. Okay, there are 1 bedroom, there are 2 bedrooms, they are there. There are types of properties that are available in this market. The next one is commercial properties, where you have offices, you have schools, you have churches, now any building of commercial value. These are things that you and I we can cash out in, as you're going to learn very, very soon. The next one is apartment buildings. Like I mentioned to you, when you saw these sky rises, apartment buildings, you would think there's one rich person. No, it's not rich, but just know how things are being done. How it's been structured. How do you align yourself very well to ensure very well that you know what you are doing? I will not be surprised if 1, 2, 3 people of you, in the next 1, 2 years, you are saying, Pastor, we are closing down on that 60-unit apartment building. Who will be that person? Who will be that person? All right, now it's possible. So just understand how it works, and you're going to flow very well on it. Now, the next one we have, they're going to be industrial properties. This is warehouses. Okay, warehouses, storage, and all the rest like that. So you're going to know about all of these, how they work, how you can cash in on any of them. Now, I may not be able to finish all of these, but I want to focus on what we take you from point A to point B in less than no time. Okay? So the next one I'm going to be looking at now, there are 2 major goals today. Now, pay attention to this now. I'm beginning to hit now the bones and the meat of this now. There are 2 major things in America, and I want some individuals that are here that came from a country where you believe that if you borrow, that means it's a crime. Now, I want to correct that impression, okay, because when I came in newly, I have that kind of erroneous understanding until I begin to understand the system. You need to understand this is America. They ride and they flow on credit facility. So you need to understand how it works. When someone says, you know what, the Bible says we shall not borrow, you are not borrowing. It's a system you came to meet. And when you understand the system, the eagle does not struggle to fly, because all the eagle does is just to align itself to the flow of the wind, and it just flow and fly. Where other people are flapping their wing, the eagle is just cresting and just enjoying itself. So, with that understanding, there are two major things that everyone there you need to understand. And this is how it works here in America. Number one is what you call your personal credit profile. Personal credit profile, again, some of us might be familiar with it, but some might not be familiar with that. Now, when you come to the land, and God help you, you settle your credentials and all, you have your social security, it's an advice, which I think it will help you. That doesn't make you, the Bible says that the lender is the borrower is a slave to the lender and everything like that. No, all those biblical quotations, they are wonderful. But you need to understand, when you come to a system, study the system, how it works. That doesn't make you a slave of anybody, all right? The system is built in such a way that they try to level everybody together so that nobody feel like the richest or something like that. I've been at work where our janitor is driving a very beautiful car and the nurse manager is driving jalopy. That's the country. So they don't want anybody to feel so special when you create a big gap between the rich and the poor. No, once you understand how the system works, apply it to your own advantage, you'll be fine. So everybody in this room, you need to know what they call personal credit profile. And it runs on numbers from 350, which is the least, to the highest of 850. A very good question someone want to ask, how do I build my personal credit profile? Simple. Go to a bank. If this is the first time, some banks might be a little bit challenging. So you need to find a bank that will allow you. Some might want to go on a secured line of credit, which means you have a money in the account and they will allow you to borrow against your money and they'll be giving you points. After a little while, they can now convert it to an unsecured one because the unsecured credit line actually gives you more credit points than the secured one. The secured one is your money. So if you refuse to pay them back, they use your money to service it. But the unsecured one is purely their money. So when you now show that responsibility of paying them back, at that point in time, they know very well that this person is reliable, this person can be trusted, and they give it back to you. Now, the simple secret behind personal credit profile is that you cannot spend beyond 30 to 40%. Max is 40%. You are too much. But the recommended spending level should not be more than 30% of it. Now, I do understand some people going through financial difficulty, unexpected expenses and things like that, and you have to blow it off. Some people blow it off to 100%, and then now start paying it little by little. You are killing your credit. Don't ever max. And if you ever max it out, you need to work very hard to put it back to what it was before. But if you want to ever spend your credit, you don't want to go above 30%. And when you go above 30%, they will always tell you pay minimum payment. Always pay more than that. With that level of understanding of not blowing beyond 30% and paying more than the minimum amount they want you to pay, definitely you are going to generate points faster. I remember one of our mother that I took a credit from 0 to almost 800 and something within 6 to 9 months because of this simple understanding. Right now, she's an elderly mother, so she don't know the difference between all of them. I said, okay, now let's get a credit. Okay, mama, buy this one. Don't buy more than this. Okay. Now, once she bought it, I said, okay, they asked you to pay $35. Okay, pay $200 out of what you. And in less than 6 to 7 months, bam, she was there at 700 and something now. Excellent credit. Okay, so this is a simple way you can build a personal. Because so this is on the credit class, so I can't do much because I really have a goal. I am not actually hit on that goal tonight. So again, like I said, there's what you call debt to income ratio, and that you need to pay attention for. Okay, if you are here today and you want to learn it. To buy your primary property, you need to want to know what they call debt to income ratio. Now, they check your credit and they check your income. If your income probably a month is $5,000, the moment your debt means very well the money you are owing that they could see from your credit, the moment is more than 50, 60%, no bank will qualify you. Why? Because they'll feel very well it will be difficult for you to pay them back. The banks have to do their due diligence. And part of their due diligence to be sure very well that they check everywhere. Some will even check your account and look for huge deposits. Because they believe that if there's a huge deposit that is not coming from your individual deposit, they believe somebody gave it to you. And one way or the other, you have entered into some credit facility which will be demanded. That's why some of them will say, okay, go get a letter from XYZ stating that this deposited money will not be paid back. So that one. So they want to make sure they do all that. They touch every point, making sure that there's nothing that will stress you in paying them back. So to as many that are here, your goal is for your primary property. Check your credit. Go to any of the free credit sites, Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, Experian.com. All of these, you can check them out. So they'll give you what is running on your credit and try to see, calculate it. How much am I making? How much am I paying back every month from credit card, from car loan, from this and this? So do the math. The moment you are above 40%, 50%, don't even apply for mortgage. Nobody will approve you because it's going to be a problem. And that's when they will start telling you, you need to pay this off, you need to pay that off. So pay attention to your personal credit profile. It really, really works and really help you. Now, let me do this now for those that are writing. Your personal credit profile can only help you to achieve 2 property maximum. And of course, if that's 2 property, I will not be here after many hours of being awake. No, my goal is to speak to a point you have multiple. And that's going to ride on the next one, which I'm going to talk about. So your personal property entitles you to have your primary home and what they call investment property or a secondary home. Or to some people, they call it vacation homes. Why? Because they will check your income against what you want to buy. So if you buy a property, if you buy, let me drink water before I faint here. Somebody learn anything today? Anybody learn anything? All right, you have to be encouraging me in between, okay? All right. Now, your primary credit profile will earn you the ability to buy 2 properties. Number 1, your primary home, and secondly, your investment property. Why? Because they check it against your income. Now, I told you about the debt to income ratio, that if you are 30, 40%, they allow you to buy your property home, your primary home. Now, for the secondary home, because they believe you are going to be renting that out, they can max you to 50, 55%. But not too much. Why? Because they know they will factor in what will be the potential rent of that property into the qualification process. So when they qualify you for your first property and your second property, it is based on your credit, it is based on your income, it is based on the cash flow that's available to you at that time. This is different from investment property, which I'll talk about much later, and that's one of the things I want to hit on tonight by the grace of God. Hallelujah. So, again, pay attention to that. Your personal credit profile can enable you to get your primary home and your secondary home, or your investment, or, your secondary home, which some people can put for rent, which is fine. All right? So you can see people buy properties back to back. It's based on this principle. The moment your credit is there and your income can handle it. Amen. A little bit low. Everybody hear me? Okay, very good. So the moment your income can handle it, yeah, they'll qualify you for the first and second. So that's why you see some people when they buy, maybe they bought their primary property this month and they have huge level of income and they still have some good amount of money to pay for down payment for the next property. Next 3 to 4, 5 months, they actually buy another one. There's no problem about that one. Okay, that it's possible. But then, after when I bought a second property, you have literally maxed everything because they can't go more than 50, 55%. You can't go more than that. Because if you go more than that, then it's going to become a problem. Because then the bank, you have to know how the bank think. That, okay, if we max you more than this, how about if the tenants don't pay? Can your income handle the first and handle the second? So you now begin to see. So instead of that, that's when people now have to start learning how to do it the right way. So the first and the second, it rides your personal destiny. But the next one, which is one of the reasons why I actually organized this class, is the one that rides on your business credit profile. And there are so many steps to that, which I'm going to talk about now. Securing your LLC, obtaining a business account, purchasing merchandise in your business name, and eventually securing your business credit card. I'll talk about that in detail. But you to know very well that if you want to go on the investment part, where you can say, okay, 3, 4, 5 properties, 10 properties, as many as you can be able to manage and handle, then definitely you want to pay attention to that, which will be the last thing I'll be talking about. And when I come to that, actually label it A, B, C, which literally you might need to take down some note for yourself of, okay, this is what to do A, this is what to do B, on and on like that. All right? So with this understanding, I've shown to you that the primary credit profile will help you to get your primary, first primary home, and maximum your secondary home. Again, if your income can handle it. If your income can, because they do the calculations and all, if your income can handle it, they can qualify you for your first primary and also for your secondary property as well. But if your income can't handle it, unfortunately, they will not be able to do that with you. But instead of you killing yourself to say, okay, my income, no income, how about switching to the one that you don't even need your income? All the banks want to see is the property itself. It's called asset-based property. They look at what the property will generate, and with that, they used to qualify you based on some certain terms, which we are going to be looking at that very, very soon. So instead of you stressing yourself and suppose say, I want to go and get another job, no, you don't need all that. Don't kill yourself. The moment what you are doing is helping you, you are comfortable. Don't, because of getting multiple properties, you look for another job. And no, there are simple way of doing that, and that's why you are here today to learn. Let me see the next slide and see how much we can go furthermore on that. So with that understanding, we'll be looking at then, for those individuals that are here today, this will be your first time. I'll be going through this again. I don't want to rush through it just because of the temptation that some of you already past that level. I want to be gracious to the people that probably that's why you are here. If you want to buy your primary home, which is your first home, or what they call the first-time home owners, there are a couple of things that apply. There are a couple of loans that are available for you. Number one is what you call the FHA loan. Now, FHA loan is a loan that the government is shielding. Literally, the government is backing you on it. The government is telling the bank, give it to him, I will stand by him. And if at any point in time he can't make the payment, I will give you part of the payment. Banks love this type of loan. Why? Because, God forbid, in the event that you default in that loan, by the time the bank will collect the money government wants to give to them, and by the time they foreclose on that house, the bank can never run at a loss. Never. I've said it so many times. There are institutions in America that can never run at a loss. One of them is the bank. Never. You see somebody bought the house for $500,000, and they say they want to sell the house for $200,000. They are not at a loss. The house has been built 1930. And they have collected the money over and over and over. So if they foreclose it in 2020, they are not at a loss. Follow me, please. All right? So 3.5%, that's what the government recommend. All right? First primary property, first-time home buyers, you have the right to go on an FHA route. You have 3.5%. In addition to that, there's what you call PMI. Pay attention to this now. That is why people on a FHA route, they pay more money in their monthly payment because of extra layers of protection the bank. The first time you are going on that heavy amount of loan. So the bank is saying, okay, will he pay back? Will he not pay back? What about if he loses his job? He doesn't lose his job. What about if he doesn't pay off? So the bank will build some layer. Number one, some parts they'll give to the government. The other part they'll give to a private mortgage company. That's they call them PMI. Private mortgage company will tell the bank, okay, you want to give loan to this guy? All right, if anything happens, I'll give you $100,000. Now, they will go to the federal government. All right, this person refused to pay my money. Federal government give them $50,000. So by the time they come and foreclose your building, and they take the building, I'll explain all those terms much later. When I say foreclose, which means they get you out of that building, and they put it on auction and everything. So by the time they generate money from all of these sources, one way or the other, they've made their money. All right? But again, I'll not be dwelling more on the negative side because I believe nobody here will get into that part of foreclosure in Jesus' name. So again, 3.5% plus PMI, which eventually increases your monthly amount. The next type of loan available for first-time home buyers are what you call conventional loans. Anything above 3.5% goes on a conventional route. What is the beauty of this one? The beauty of this is that you are going to escape one big amount of money they call PMI, because then it is you against the bank. The bank is not depending on the government. They are not depending on a private company. It is you. They view how much you are making, how much you have to put down, and with that, they are lending you the money directly. So all those additional layers that they have to put that increases your payment will no longer be there. And that's why they call it conventional loan. Some people can put as far as 5%, as far as 10%. 2021 it was so crazy. Some of our members that wanted to buy, they already put a contract on the building. And overnight, some Jews guy just came and put $100,000. $150,000. Those people, their money came from heaven. Jesus. $150,000 cash. Down payment. You with your 23,000. They will just tell you, thank you. We are no longer selling. In some place, somewhere, somebody has double crossed the whole area, especially in an area like this. All right, in the area like Newark especially. Newark is in 2020, 2021, the highest hit was Newark. It piggybacks on Irvington because they kind of share a little bit of, not too much of a distance of a border. Okay, so again, we are going on a conventional route. Again, it's 5% and above. The higher, the better. No PMI, and the monthly payment will be lower. I will explain that vividly when we get to the next one. The next loan that are available that I know you can access is the loan they call no questions asked. Now, this is the loan for someone that you are not working, but you are making good amount of income. You are not working because you are not literally, for those working that are getting a 1099, sorry, I need to touch a little bit on taxes because it kind of tie into this. For those working, getting 1099, you know very well you don't pay tax. Throughout the year, you don't pay tax. And if you must pay tax on $150,000 you made, that is almost like $30,000. You won't put it down. So what most people do, they will generate all these expenses from Jericho to Jerusalem, which is fine. And that's the beauty of business. Don't get me wrong. That's the beauty of business. Like I told you the other day, if you are a W-2 earner, you only have 2 deductions. If you are a business owner, you have 42 deductions. But you need to now know which one is which. So there are people, because they want to buy their home, they stick to W-2. But as soon as they bought their home, they switch out of W-2, get into 1099, make all the money, and blow them out at the end of the day. I'm not teaching you something wrong. It's legal. I'm also a practitioner, so I know what I'm talking about. So you have 42 ways to deduct. So you can make 200,000 and tell the government you run at a loss. So far you can provide evidence and receipt, that's it. And that's why all the ghost hunt on Trump cannot work. The guy make $1 billion and have expenses for $999 million. That's what it is. You can provide it, and that's what it is. So people screaming and shouting, it's not paying tax. I said, when you are ignorant, you talk in a certain way. The guy took advantage of the loophole in the system. It's there. And he told them all along. He said, why are you guys hunting after me? You created the law. When I was running against Clinton, I'm sorry for diverting a little bit. When running against Clinton, he said, why are you using it as evidence to debate me? You were there in the Senate for 30 years. Your rich millionaire friends took advantage of it. So why are you putting it before me? And that is the law. That is the law. You can make $500,000 and blow it off. You went on vacation for 62,000. Only don't know what vacation is that. You ate burger for 103,000. So I'm telling you, it's available. You drove your car for 100,000 miles, and per each mile they give you 62 cents per each mile. So by the time you calculate all of those, you have $200,000 pure money in your hand. You blow it off. But again, pay attention to this. If you are on that, it will be difficult for bank to qualify you under the first 2 loans we talk about. Why? Because when they look at your taxes, they are seeing 5,000. And then you are telling them you are making 200,000. This is 5,000 now. You blew it down to 5,000 because you don't want to pay more than 1.5 for taxes for the year, which the government have no problem over. But then the problem now lies that the bank view you from the document you provide to them. So in the recent development, banks have to come out. How do we help people that are 1099 earners? People that have what they call side gigs. There are people riding Uber that are making close to $200,000. Now, when they come to our firm to file their taxes, and they bring all these expenses and everything like that, some will blow it off completely. The mileage and the food alone blow out $200,000, which is fine. Now, the bank now said, okay, now that we understand you need to blow off the income because you don't want to pay taxes, how else can we view you? How else can we look at what is coming to your hand. So they have to generate so many means at which they can help those people. So they look at the level of income that come. There are people that make good money that don't report it. There are people that make decent amount. I'm telling you, I'm a practitioner. I've seen some huge amount like Jesus Christ. But I can't see anything. It's between me and my client. So it's the confidentiality agreement that we have to sign. All right, so say this is it. This is what I want to declare. This is what I want to keep. It's them and the government. I'm doing my own part. So which is fine. Some of them are legitimate. So there's nothing wrong in that. Some, they have legitimate expenses to blow everything off, and that's what it is. That's what the law permits. No, for such individuals now, how can they buy properties? So they have to come up with a different loan system to say, okay, now, we're not going to ask you about where you work, where you didn't work, how much tax, everything. We know you are making money. Now put this huge amount of money down and show us how money is coming to you, and we get you qualified. Already they have reduced their risk because you are putting up 30%. Imagine somebody buying a house of 500,000. How much is 30%? Okay, buying a house of, already you are put down $150,000. Now that's different from down payment, extra cost and closing costs. So the property by itself is more than the money that the bank gave to you. So the event that you cannot pay again, your $150,000 is lost. So you will not be so stupid to allow that huge amount of money to be lost. So you want to do everything possible to keep it. If you don't keep it, at the end of the day, the bank will foreclose on you, and trust me, they will sell that house more than the $350,000 they gave you. Who will be at a loss at the end of the day? It's going to be you. So they are not asking you a question about W2, no W2, because they know you are earning money and you don't want to pay taxes on, which is legitimate. So they allow you, okay, now bring this huge amount of money. Some people put as much as 40% down. Okay. Some people put that much, some people go as high as 50%. So the bank bring 50%. Now, because they know very well, and in less than 1 or 2 years, they personally pay off the bank. But they needed that money at that particular point in time. All right, so we call it no question. There are so many names, different banks, different institutions call it, but then that's just the name I came up with. They are not looking at taxes. They are not looking at this thing. Give them the huge amount of money down. Tell them how money is coming to you. That is not true fraud anyway. So they need to know that you are making the money in American soil. So you are good to go. All right, so we're going to go very, very quickly on example of a typical mortgage. For people here that might want to find out, okay, how does the number runs? Okay, I know there are a good number of people that might say, okay, how do they calculate mortgage? How do I know which one is which and all? Again, like I said, this session might sound a little bit boring to those of you that are already in it, but please just pay attention and just let's help the other people. Example of a typical mortgage of a home, maybe the home worth $200,000, okay, and the taxes for the year worth $5,300, and every house must have homeowners insurance, which is, God forbid, if the house got burnt down, there's an insurance company, just the way you have insurance over your vehicles, there's an insurance company that will go ahead and actually build the house back for you. So definitely, each of them have to give you an amount you have to pay every year. So I'm just putting it there. Let's say the home costs $200,000 and the taxes is $5,300, and the insurance is $1,200, and they're giving you 5%. Now it's kind of a little bit crazy now, the interest rate, but the prediction is showing that it might crash very soon. But right now, it's still a little bit about 5-6%, which is kind of high. All right, because about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it was around 2.5, 3.5, and so. But now it's a little bit high. But again, just follow this example I'm giving. So let's say for FHA homeowner, which you all know who they are, let's say now you will put down 3.5% plus the cost of closing. Now you calculate 200,000. You have to calculate what is 3.5% of that. So you need to have that one down. Then there are other closing costs. Now, the closing costs have to include so many things. You have to include appraisal, have to include inspection, origination point, PMI. There are so many things that the lender will be the one that will determine that. They will give you all those breakdown. There's originate, because remember, all these lenders, they are also working to make money for themselves. Okay? Because some of them, they are more of a broker than a bank official. I'm going to be describing those two in a minute to you now. Now, what is the difference between the two? A bank official works only for one bank. They go by ABC of what that bank says. But a broker connects with multiple banks. So they have an idea of what is going on in different banks. So I do tell people it's better you go with a broker. Because when you go with just one bank, if you don't fit into that ABC, they just tell you are not qualified. So we have seen people that actually went to a bank and the bank told them, no, you are not qualified, nothing can happen. And they went to a broker and boom, they got qualified and they bought their houses. Somebody yesterday was telling me that, oh, she was disqualified because they said she was not a green card holder. I said, that's a lie. That's a lie. If you don't, even though you are a foreigner, you can buy a house here. So which I will share it with you very, very soon. Okay? Now, for this illustration now, what would be like the typical payment of this person with the buying a home for $200,000? Of course, you know you can't see that kind of home. No work. This is just an example because the home here is $500,000 above if you want to have a reasonable home. All right. Okay, give me the next point, or you want to go a little bit up. Let's see the breakdown of that. Now, what would be the typical payment of this individual with this structure? 200,000 house, 5,300 taxes, and 1,200 home insurance with 5% interest rate. Let's look at what that would be. Do I have the next slide, media? Amen. All right, now I told you very well, the money you take to closing is different. I gave you the calculation. Now, this is not what this is. The money you take to closing, I told you is 3.5% of what the loan amount is, plus all the origination fee the lender will tell you. They will tell you origination fee. They will tell you the points they are charging you. They will tell you some other fees, survey, title, so many little things that, trust me, sometimes they add up to become a little bit of an amount of money. So those ones are what you take to closing, which they will give to you. But I'm giving you a breakdown of what a typical mortgage looks like and how they calculate it. Now, if you look at that breakdown I gave, they'll always give you what they call PI. PI is principal and interest. So what they do, they take that 200,000, they'll divide it into 30 years, which is 360 months. Okay? So if you divide it, you are going to have 556. Now, they are charging you 5% for every 1 year that you take that loan. So it's going to come up as $833 every month. So for principal and interest alone, for that money you took and the money they gave you, is costing you almost $1,300. Now, the taxes I showed to you, they will divide it into 12. So you're going to see that amount there. The insurance I showed to you the previous screen, they divide that into 12 as well. Now, this FHA, they're going to have a PMI because FHA loan. PMI is private mortgage insurance. So they're having a private company insuring that house that in the event that something happened, we are going to stand up for it and things like that. So it comes to an amount per year. They will break it into 12 months. Sometimes, some banks allow it to run for 5 years. Some allow it to run for 10 years and they will cut off. Why? Because over that 10 years, they have trusted you enough that you will be okay paying the remaining years ahead. So it just fades up until it's completely canceled. But in your initial time, you're going to be having this amount reflecting again, if it is FHA loan. So in a typical mortgage of $200,000 with $5,300 as what? Let me see if you are following me. As what? 5,300 as what? As the taxes. 1,200 as what? Very good, very good, very good. All right, so you're going to be having something that looks like this, $2,106 in a month. And $200,000 for now can only buy you a single family home. It's almost like an impossible thing to buy a multiple home with that. Then the question you want to ask yourself, if you are renting a place and you are paying $1,200 and you are scratching yourself, will you go and buy a single family home and be paying this one every month? Some people might be a yes. Again, some people might be a yes for a couple of reasons. Number one, you have children, you want a big compound, you want a different neighborhood. Some people might want to do that. Okay? It might be a no to you, it might be a yes to somebody else. That what they pay for rent is less than what they're paying for their primary home as far as mortgage is concerned. But there are better wisdom that we can explore. Let's go to the next one and look at what we have there now. Now, this is a typical FHA loan. Now, if you are going on the other part, again, they call it conventional route. For conventional homeowner, you will put down 5% and above. The higher, the better. Okay? Plus the cost of closing, which varies. Again, like I said, the closing cost, it contains not only the down payment, it also have all the origination fee, appraisal, inspection, all the rest like that, which I want to believe that everybody is paying attention to that. Then, with 5% interest. Now, pay attention between these two now, okay? So that when you look at what an FHA loan will give you or what a conventional loan will give to you, let's go to the next slide and see something that is there. Now, you look at it, this type of mortgage we include, again, principal and interest is going to be the same thing. The annual tax is going to be the same thing. The insurance is going to be the same thing. But what is missing? PMI. Because why? It's a conventional loan. The government is not involved. It's with you and the lender. So you could see very well that this person paid less. So you can see two people, they bought houses at the same time with the same amount of money, and when it's paying less, it's because ask them how much did you put down for your down payment. So the moment you can put more on down payment, they will switch to the conventional, so you don't have to be paying some extra fee or some extra payment that you need to pay at the end of the day. Okay? So very good. So let's see what is on the next slide as we move on. Okay, now how do you qualify for your first time home buying? Again, for some probably good number of people that are here, this is the first time you want to buy home in America. How do you qualify? What are some of the things that you need to have? What are some of the things that you need to, if you don't have it now, you can start working toward. And that's why I started by saying there are some people that can start executing from now. There are some people that they just need the knowledge, and they can start building on that knowledge until they get to that level where they believe they can be able to flow very well. Number one, you have to have a good standing credit, at least 680 and above. Now, it differs from state to state. The last time I was in Texas, they were actually collecting 500 and something. Yes, 580, yes. They actually cut their down was that. When I saw it on, I said, wow. 580. So different states, different people and things like that. Okay. Now for here in the tri-state area, okay, within this, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and all, then you want to be hitting, 680 is the list number, and you just keep going on and on the numbers like that. All right. Now, in addition to that, you want to have the next qualification that you need in order to purchase your first home. Going to be your strong tax history. All right. So they want to see very well that you have been able to file taxes back to back within at least 2 years. Some can request for the third year if probably this 2022 is strong, 2021 is a little bit weak, then they want to look at 2020 and take the average of them to be able to calculate. No, why are they doing that? They want to look at the consistency. Then in your application, you fill in there that you make $150,000 from your job, and your taxes say 87. Then they want to find out what happened. Did you depreciate something that is crushing your numbers? So they want to look at all of those. At the end of the day, they make that determination if you'll be qualified or not. So they need 2 years tax history, which you need to have. And again, there's the way they calculate it. Don't forget what I said initially, the debt to income ratio. Make sure what is on your credit is not, the higher the debt on your credit, the more it's going to become very difficult to get qualified. Because then they look at your income. Maybe your income at your end of the year taxes is 100,000, for example. 100,000 per year is average of $7,000 to $8,000 a month. Now, if your credit reveals that the debt in your credit profile, maybe there's somebody run your credit and saw you are paying back 5,000 every month. Maybe a car loan, a credit card, one of the maybe student loan and everything like that, it will be very difficult for anybody to qualify. Why? Because already the debt is heavy. So they believe that qualifying you for a house will max you, and no bank want to max you with a house, because they know very well you will default. And if you default, it costs the bank. Now, I had this statistic some years ago. It costs the bank at least $60,000 to complete a foreclosure process on one property. So why would they, when they already foresaw that this person will default, they will just deny you initially? Because now they have to go through the legal means. No bank can knock at your door and check you out now. They have to go through the legal means, go through lawyers. That's why you can see very well if you are defaulted, they'll be writing you. A time will come as if they are begging you. Not begging as a please. No, they will try to mediate, try to make up with you. Why? Because it's going to cost them as well to get you out of that house. Now, if they evaluate the house that the house is 150,000, no bank want to do all that with you. So they just keep going back and forth, because they know if they pressure you too much, you get out of the house is going to be empty, and some good boys around will come in and defecate. And the moment they do that, they dilapidate the house and they're going to lose everything. So the bank will try to work with you by all means and try to do everything, remediate, write to you, say, okay, let us know if you are going through hardship. Some of them will give you break and say, okay, take 3 months off, recoup yourself and come back. So they'll do everything. Banks are not crazy. Bank cannot credit because people that have wrong understanding at the bank. No, 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 no. They'll do everything possible. They'll call you. They'll text. No, they won't text you. Sorry. They will call you. They will send you letters, and they'll do everything possible. When you are not responding to them, you are not answering them. They will offer you. They will send you letters. Okay, are you going through hardship? Let us know. We can give you a break for 3 months. Some can give you a break for 6 months. Some can give you a break for 1 year. Okay, so within that time, they expect you to, okay, get yourself together. When you are together, you can come back to us. Then we can restart it all over again, a process I'm going to talk about much later. So the banks will do everything possible to help you. But it's only when you kept ignoring them, you kept rejecting their offer, not responding to them, not getting back to them, then they have no choice than to initiate a foreclosure against you. Again, you need to cause them, but somehow, one way or the other, they will get their money back at the end of the day. Okay, so again, you need 2 years of strong taxes. Then you need 2 years of consistent work history. So you can't be jumping from job to job. Right, those of you that are doing, what's that profession? No, not agency. There's one profession people are doing. There's one that looks like, that looks more of a computer and nursing. What's the name? Huh? No. Epic, thank you. Especially Epic workers. They are all over the place. They are all over the Epic. You said you want to go on the different routes. Before you can call, because why? Again, I deal with them a lot. Epic can give me like 20 W2. Why? Because they're all over. Okay, so they go here, they finish this one, they go there, they finish that one, they go there, finish that one, which is fine. Again, if you're to just making money, it's beautiful. But for the process of running a loan, it will be difficult because the bank can pin you down to something. They can pin because they do what they call employment verification. They want to call that job and ask them how far, how are they doing. And one of the questions they will ask them is there a promise of continuous employment? So the work should be able to assure them that, okay, if all things seem equal, it's a good employee, we still guarantee that we'll keep working if everything stays the same. But a situation where they call this and they say, no, it's only with us on just on 4 weeks. And they call now and say, no, we have even discharged him. So they have nothing to contract you with. So that's it. And again, agency don't qualify either. Okay, those of agency worker. Why? Because agency cannot guarantee. Because agency contract with a big company. The company can become tomorrow and say, we don't need you anymore. So agency can't vouch for you and say, you know what, there's the promise of continuous employment. No. Now, agency could be a secondary source of income where they have checked your primary source of income that is fine, and then if there's something extra, then they can check with 1 or 2 agencies that you have worked with. But if the only thing you do is agency that is 1 month here, 2 months here, 3 months here, there is no consistent income. So it might be very, very challenging to get it through. Now, some broker can play a little bit of game. Like I told you, brokers work with every bank and work with everybody to make, because if they don't close that loan, they won't get paid. I've seen broker do some crazy things. I've seen broker create a business that doesn't exist just to get you qualified and get the house. Why? Because once they cash out their money, it's you and the bank. It's you and the bank. So go and be doing whatever you're doing. I tell you, people are crazy. But again, the system is so sad that they are cracking down some of them. Again, broker will do everything possible and to just get the loan out of their door. And once they get paid and they face something else, it's you and the bank go and find and you pay your money. Especially when it comes to buying of cars, that is even the worst. I've never seen the car owned. In fact, they can create anything possible, because the moment you drive that car out of their gate, by the time you come back, they will tell you, well, what's your name? You are completely on your own way, because they will get everything possible to just drive that car out. So just drive it out. Once you drive it out, I forgot. I can't pay for it. You say, well, don't worry. When the bank call you, tell the bank that's one. All right, so you have to have 2 years consistent and make sure you maintain your job. Don't be jumping. I understand if something better, you have to go for it. But again, if you have the understanding that you want to buy a house, you want to keep something on a consistent level for at least 2 years. All right. Now, I put down the next one, good down payment with accounts showing balance that accumulates over time. Why is that emphasis? I want to qualify for mortgage next month. I'll go and tell somebody to give me 50,000. They will question you. They will question you about the source of income, and if that cannot be verified and where that money came from, the owner should be able to write and say, we dash you the money. We are not collecting it back. It's like what I say, a gift letter. All right? Then they can allow that to fly. And some people get so crazy, they'll hold that letter. By the time the owner want to ask, you say, you say you dash me now. No, people have not done. I've not seen anybody done that, but people can be. Okay, so you have to show where it builds up over time. All right, because they'll ask for 3-month bank statement. Why are they asking for that? They want to see how the income is coming in. Okay, how you are depositing income from time to time, how it builds up over time, how you are transferring from one to another. Some of our one or two of our members had issues last time where they kept zelling, and the banks have problem with that. Because it comes in a month, they can zell like 18 times or 10 times, which is wonderful because they are zelling to do some spiritual obligations and all. But the bank said, okay, now, this whole thing doesn't look right to us. So you need to be able to make sure very well that have a savings, make sure that there's a consistent amount going there. You are building it over time. To such a time, if you want to buy a house of $500,000, what would be 3.5%? You think towards that, you start saving and building it over time until you get to that level. The next thing you have to talk about, let me see the next slide. All right, what else? What else should you? Now, we've talked about the first 4 things. Now, the next thing that is there now, is said, what? Obtain a pre-qualification letter. Now, pay attention to this because people mix this up. That's what we call pre-qualification and pre-approval letter. What's the difference between the two? Pre-qualification means very well you went on a random site and you told them you make $200,000 and you told them you don't have any problem with your credit and you told them your credit is 850, whereas you don't have any credit. And you told them that you are working in a very good company for 2 years. It's what you told them that they just gave you a number. They didn't check anything. They didn't verify anything. They just gave you a number. And some people can actually print out a pre-qualification. I can give you a site. You can print out a pre-qualification letter right now for $200,000, $300,000. Now, that's not a problem. But where the problem lies is now when they now start demanding for evidence. Because definitely, it has to go from pre-qualification to pre-approval. Pre-approval means very well that all those things you say you had, the 200,000 you say you are making, the 100,000 say you have your bank account, the 2-year job you say you had, now bring evidences so that we can look at all this together and review it. So by the time they review all of those numbers, all of those proofs, evidences, then they can say, okay, now you are pre-approved for this amount of money to buy what you want to buy. So the reason why you want to do those first 4 things or first 5 things we said on the other slide is because of this one. Now, most real estate seasoned agents won't even talk to you if you don't have this letter. Why? Because there are people that just waste the time of. I told you I practiced real estate agency as a salesman for about almost 6 or 7 months. It was like a waste of time. Imagine me showing somebody a house, showing one family almost like 20 or 30. They didn't buy anything. I was in nursing school. I was almost like failing. And I'm running around town, showing people I see they're not buying anything. I say, no. I see I'm in the wrong profession. Let me just solve this before something else happens. So at the end of the so some real estate agents, seasoned one, they won't even waste time. If you don't have your pre-approval letter, they won't just get on the road. Because why? You can take them everywhere. You can make them go see, show you some great houses. At the end of the day, you're not going to buy. Why? Because that you say you are working doesn't make it real. They need to be able to pre-approve you for a particular amount of money before the real estate agent can get out of their door to go get something for you. So you want to get that. When all those 4 or 5 things are done, then you want to contact some brokers, which you might be recommending some, which we have no affiliation with. We are just recommending them because they have done good jobs by other people. Okay? Now you want to get a pre-qualification or pre-approval letter. Then you show to them. That will tell them what kind of houses they should be showing to you. So you don't want them to be showing you a house of $500,000, where you are just qualified for 200,000. Then just a waste of time because why? Your pre-approval amount cannot carry what you are looking for. That's why you needed that amount first before you can get on the road. You need that amount first because you can engage any real estate agent that knows what they are doing. That's the first thing they will ask you. Have you been pre-qualified? Have you been pre-approved? What is the number? Because that will now help them to narrow their search into the area, into the amount, and everything that you are going to need. When that is done, then the next one, you find a seasoned agent with specification as to what you want, All right, I need a two-family. I want each floor to be 3 bedroom, 2 bath. I want to have a big yard, a driveway. I do another description and on like that. I need it in this also neighborhood and this amount I'm qualified for. So that will now help them to throw their net into different areas and start searching for that. When that is done, the next one, you find the house, then you network different kind of people. Now, the moment you find the house you're looking for, then you want to network your attorney to review the contract, review everything that is there. For some people, they want to get an inspection to inspect the building. They want to appraise the house. They want to check for survey. They want to order for the title search. All of these things start coming together. First, your pre-approval is there. Secondly, you have gotten your agent that is working with you. Thirdly, you have gotten the house that you want. Now you want to begin to put all of this together. Now you make an offer. The owner of the house accepts the offer that they'll be ready, willing to sell the house to you. Then they send it over to the attorney. The attorney reviews all the numbers, reviews everything, make sure that everything is fine, everything is clear. So it's going to be the communication between your attorney and the attorney of the owner of the house. They'll be going back and forth, reviewing it, making sure that there's no gimmicks, anything. Once that is done, then it switch over to the next one, which is to start gathering all the required paperwork. Now, remember that everything you told them in the beginning you had, all the things you fill in the paperwork, now you've seen the house, then at this point in time, you want to start submitting all those documents, all right? You want to submit your taxes to them. You want to submit your W-2s for 2 years. You want to submit your bank account statement. You want to submit, the proof of fund where you are going to raise the down payment. All those you want to submit it to them, and some team on the side of the bank will start working with all the numbers. What's the next thing that I have them? What's the next thing I have, media? All right, very good. So, the moment you have gotten a place, your attorney have reviewed it, you like the terms, everything is fine, you love the house, and the owner have agreed to sell it to you. The owner's attorney have already reviewed it and said, okay, you are a good qualified buyer. Then you are going to sign the contract. Some people make a mistake in this area because the attorney reviewed it with them over the phone and say, okay, say yes, and they said yes, and they don't know that they have signed a contract. And the next minute they are saying very well that when, and they are saying, but I reviewed with you, and I told you to say yes, and you said yes. To some people, they'll send you an email to say, okay, type, respond to say, yes, I agree. Okay? Now, with that alone, you have already signed a contract. Now, they make it very, very similar. So some people will say what they call DocuSign. DocuSign is like an electronic document. So you go there, you click some buttons, already sign it. So once that contract is signed, you are binding to that house. The only thing that can take you out of there if you don't like it is either the mortgage company say they can't approve you again because they did some checks and you are no longer qualified. You can't just wake up one morning and say, I don't want it again. You must want it too. Okay? So you can't just say you walk out of it. No, they can pursue you to the extent of the law. And there are some people that can get almost $40,000. If you have put down payment, that down payment, some people can crush it. It's gone. So that's why your lawyer will go over it with you very well. That's why you have an attorney. We go over it with you very well. You make sure very well you say you are satisfied, you are okay. You sign it. Because, there are some people that will do that, and the next minute, some friends start telling them, why should you do that? Once you sign it, they have your social, they have where you work, they have your bank statement, they have your address, they have your date of birth. That's all they need. By the time they subpoena you in the court, if you like, come. If you like, you don't come. You just see that you are working and money is not coming to your account. Because it's being wired somewhere else and everything like that. So again, that's why it's so important to review if you don't understand. That's why you have to get an attorney to go over it very well, and also once you are okay with that, you sign it, you are fine. All right? So when the contract is signed, appraisal is done to check if the amount that they offer the house is equal to what the house worth. That's why they need to check the building. Maybe the owner is asking for $500,000. The bank will just give you $500,000 like that. No, the bank want to find out, does this house actually worth $500,000? Why? Because if they found a house of $500,000 and the house actually worth $300,000, so already you are $200,000 in the water. That's the real estate name they call it. $200,000 deficit in the water already. Why? Because you bought a house that doesn't worth the amount that they give to you. So no bank will give you money. Except some banks during the pandemic, they did some extra things without appraisal. But for the most part, you must appraise a building. And the building either is equal to the loan amount or is a little bit above the loan amount. But in a case where it is lower than the loan amount, what do? Then the seller have a choice. Either to say, well, I'm sorry, if it's lower than what the bank want to give to you, either you come up with the difference or I'm not selling to you. During the pandemic, we actually see people put out some big amount of money. Some people say, you know what, I will pay $30,000. Even though it doesn't, I will pay $30,000. I can't search anymore. Why? Because they've searched and they are tired. So, and they can't even continue anymore. So, you know what, I'll go and look for extra $30,000 and put for it. So they are buying a house that is less than what the house worth. But because of all the running around, they're just tired and worn out. I know about 1 or 2 people in this church that actually follow that route. I don't blame them because, trust me, that especially 2021, Lord Jesus, it was heavy. But again, we thank God for everything. All right? So when that is done, then it goes over to again, I'm just showing you what's going on in the bank area. This is how it works. All right? So once the appraisal is done, then the bank have everything they need. They have all your documents. They know how much the house worth. They have gotten the clearance of the title to show that the previous owner did not carry loan on the house, because there are people that use their house to put as collateral somewhere else. So when they do a title search, they are checking that the house does not stand as collateral for immigration, does not stand as collateral for somebody's problem and all. When all of that has been cleared, then the bank begin to work on the underground. They call it underwriting. They begin to check, making sure they cross all the T's, dot all the I's, make everything possible. When that is done, then they are getting ready. Some homeowners can order for inspection, all right? Most banks won't order for that, but some homeowners say, you know what, I need something extra. I need to check, make sure that the piping are well laid. I wanted to check the foundation, check all the faucets, check for safety, check the furnace, check all these things. Now, that one is at your own expense because the bank might not even need that at the beginning. All right? So when that is done, inspection is done, everything is done, then you are clear to close. You are clear to close means very well. We have gotten everything that we wanted. We verify your proof of fund that you have enough money to close. The bank does not have any encumbrance. The house does not have any encumbrance. Nothing is hanging on the house. Now we are clearing you to close. Now it is time to fix a closing. All right? Some of them want you to come to their office. Some might come to your house. However way you decide, then you are clear to close. Then the closing is done. Then you are now a proud owner of your home. All right? So very good. With that being said, let's go to the next slide. Quickly. Now, for your secondary property, now pay attention to this now. Because again, like I said, some people have crossed that line of primary property. But for those that is your first line, I have just shared with you what you need to know. Now, for your secondary property, for those that want to buy, again, like I told you, the first 2 property rights on what? On what? Personal credit. Very good. On your personal credit. Now, for your secondary property now, you have bought your first home, and now you want to buy another one based on your income. So this type of property writes on your personal credit profile, credit score, work history, pay stub, W-2, tax years, down payment. The same thing you put down during the purchase of your primary home, you put the same thing down again. Now pay attention to this now. The bank now will be using the same qualification plus the potential rent of what that new property will look like if your income does not carry it. There are people that make $500,000 in a year. Okay? So with that level of income, if they don't have debt in their credit profile, they can actually fund a primary property and fund a secondary home without any potential rent coming from anywhere. But from individuals that don't have that huge level of income, then the bank should be able to create a system that shows that money will come to you from somewhere that will help you maintain this additional home you are buying. Because if they should add that to what you are paying your primary home, that will be a lot of money that will be coming out from you every month based on the income that you have. So what's the wisdom here? We do advise people to set your primary home to be at least a 2-family. Why that wisdom? Because now you are buying a 2-family that will serve as a potential investment property with huge amount of rental income. Let me make it more vivid now. You have a primary home as your first primary home. You have a single family as your first primary home, and you have A multi-family, 3 family as a first primary home. Okay, this is A, this is B. Now, A and B want to buy their secondary home. Okay? Now, the bank is going to calculate the income of A and B plus what this initial home might potentially bring. Now, from single family and multi-family, which of them will have higher rental income? Multi-family. And that's why we advise people that if it's possible, go first on a multi-family so that by the time you want to get to because you want to get to your secondary property, which will eventually be where you will be living, the bank will now use this huge property you have and calculate all those rents as potential income. By the time they add it to what you are making from your jobs, it will be very easy for you to qualify for the second property. Are we together? Very good. So that is the purchase of your secondary property. Now, again, on this one, most people can go as much as anything. They can put some crazy amount of money down. There's some people that have some wicked big money and they just put it down like that and just ensure, which is fine. Again, like I said, the bank will look at what you are giving as what will come as a potential rent that will come from that, in addition to what you are making. So to get qualified will be much, much, much easier. But the whole thing, again, like I said, it writes on your credit profile. Now, this is the temptation I've seen with most people. The moment you get qualified for a mortgage, it kind of somehow open you up to so many things. Many lenders and many credit facilities just one way or the other just trust you. And they start sending you all this offer. 0% interest car, 0% couch, interest furniture, interest electronic, and everything like that. And some people will not, they will fall into that temptation. And there they are with a huge mortgage they are paying, and boom, furniture, electronics, washing machine, fridge, television, everything in that house. Why? Because they just give it to them. Why? Because now that's the highest thing you can buy on a credit facility, okay, is mortgage. That's the thing you pay 100 and how much is a car? A car is 20 or 30,000. Furniture is $2,000 or $3,000. All right. So they are saying that if somebody can trust you, it's common sense. If somebody can trust you with $500,000, which one is our own 10,000? Come and take it. Come and take 10,000. Come and take 20,000 and things like that. And so people fall into that temptation. Now here's the problem. Now, remember those huge amount of mortgage you took. Either you have rent or not. And I do tell people, don't go skin to skin with your tenant because they might fall. How do I mean skin to skin? That means if your tenant don't pay, you can't pay for that month. That will be a problem. Okay, why? Because anything can happen. Anything can happen, and the tenant can just walk out of the house. Like one of our property, the tenant just came back and said, you know what, I don't like it again. I just left like that. Of course, I have to get back at him. I know the law. You can't break lease on me. You have to pay the remaining part of it. So I have enough room to find a new tenant. So I'll teach you that one later. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is, so you have to understand how all of these things work to put them together in such a way that you are not crushed at the end of the day. So when all those credit offers are coming, be very careful. I've said this so many times. Don't buy a house you are paying mortgage on and you are paying mortgage on your car at the same time. And there's no rental income coming in consistently. You might crash. Especially if the income that services the mortgage and the car is coming from what you are earning. That'll be a problem. You are putting much pressure on yourself. Why? Because something will tell you, you have to work, you have to work, you have to work, you have to work, you have to work on the 15th, on the 15th, car payment, on the second, mortgage, you have all the numbers in your head. And that's not only that. And when that is done, you have to think of PSE&G, you have to think of water bills, you have to think of, the bills will keep coming. So you have to try to resist all forms of temptation that want to come. So once you get this huge mortgage, you need to give yourself enough time to stabilize on it. Cut off all other credit offers. Because I'm telling you, your mailbox will just be loaded with all kinds of things. But learn to discipline yourself. Say, no, I just resume a big mortgage. I know I'm having rental income. I may be living there free or no. But let me make sure that this one is consistent. Then later, you can be adding one or two things if you choose to do so. Okay? Again, This is the property that lies and rests on your personal profile. The next slide, I believe, I'll be going into the main one I want to talk about, which is the one that I believe most people here, some people here might want to get into. How do I get into the one that does not need your personal profile? You just need to literally show up with some document that shows that you are a human being. I just want to make it very, very literal. And to be very honest, and that's just what it is. Some document that show that you are a human being and you can take responsibility, and the bank will be willing to give you some money. And that's what I want to share with you tonight. And with that, do I have any other thing after this? All right, investment property continues. To succeed well on this part, it is advisable to purchase a multi-family, which I talked about. Potential rent of your primary income with this. Okay, I talked about all of this one. What's the next slide? All right, I'm going to give a 10 minutes break. If you want to ease yourself, if you want to stretch, you can please do that, because I'm going to the main one. And that's the one that I have in there that I think a lot of you want to hear tonight. And that's where some of those checks came in that you saw earlier on in the presentation. Please, if you want to move around, stretch yourself, please do so. In next 10 minutes, we'll be resuming back and we're going to continue.